Welcome back to Noir Alley, TCM's weekly foray into the world of film noir. I'm your host, Eddie Muller. This time around, we're presenting one of the most overlooked movies on the resume of one of the world's most famous directors, Fritz Lang. It's The Blue Gardenia from 1953, a film that tends to polarize viewers. Some devotees of Lang consider it one of his lesser efforts, little more than a pedestrian work for hire. Others find it surprisingly subversive for its time, the rare studio concoction with a distinctly feminist slant. Now, if you're in the latter camp, much of the credit has to go to the writer of The Blue Gardenia, Vera Caspary. She is, of course, known mainly as the author of the novel Laura, which was turned into arguably the most famous mystery movie of all time. Back in the early 1900s, Caspary put herself through business school and then worked her way into a successful career in advertising, all before becoming a journalist, novelist, and playwright. In fact, one of her first plays, Blind Mice, featuring an all-female cast, would subtly be reworked into The Blue Gardenia, notably the premise of a trio of working girls sharing an apartment, as well as cynical opinions of men. The Blue Gardenia was made at a significant juncture in the lives of both Caspary and Lang. Both were deemed suspicious by the House Committee on Un-American Activities, and both had been gray-listed in Hollywood, their careers essentially hanging in the balance. Caspary sold Warner Brothers this 137-page treatment, entitled The Gardenia, and used the money to fund an extended European vacation for her and her husband, film producer I.G. Goldsmith. Coincidentally, the Goldsmiths were Lang's neighbors in Beverly Hills. Now, as for Lang, he was professionally adrift at this time and found an unexpected savior in the form of Columbia boss Harry Cohn, who helped out when the director couldn't find steady work. Cohn placed a few phone calls to his cronies at Warner Brothers, and Lang suddenly was tossed a career lifeline, filming the script Charles Hoffman had written from Caspary's treatment. What Lang enjoyed most about the project was the chance to work with Anne Baxter, who he'd wanted to cast in his 1941 film Manhunt when she was only 17. Lang was notorious for often browbeating his leading ladies, but that wasn't the case with Baxter. He loved working with her and felt she gave a terrific performance as Nora Larkin, a lonely woman suspected of killing the lecher who tries to date rape her. Now, it says something about America in the 1950s that this plot was not shocking at the time. Our modern sensibilities might wonder how such a disturbing story could slip past the Puritans in the production code office. But the truth is, no one objected. The heavy in the story, libidinous pinup artist Harry Preble, is played, of course, by Raymond Burr, the foremost villain in film noir. Now, the Harry Preble in this draft is nothing like Raymond Burr. Caspary even describes him as delicate. But in 1951, if your film required an instantly ominous sociopath, you called Raymond Burr's agent. Now, as the objects of Burr's unwanted attention, we have the fantastic gal gang of Anne Baxter, Ann Sothern, and Jeff Donnell.
The last time they put my picture in the paper, I had to get bitten by a dog.
The supporting role had to be something of a come-down for Sothern, who'd been one of the most popular screen comedians of the 1940s, starring in 10 features as spunky burlesque dancer Maisie Revere. She's a little older here, but no less sassy.
Like to see some more of my work?
You're wasting your time, Rembrandt. She's got a boyfriend in Korea.
If there's one segment of our audience I know is going to love this film, it's aficionados of tiki culture. Because the Blue Gardenia of the title is actually the tiki lounge where Anne Baxter has her fateful first date. And guess who's providing the evening's music? None other than Nat King Cole. So hurry up and make yourself a couple of Polynesian pearl divers and settle in for Fritz Lang's unsettling 1953 thriller, The Blue Gardenia.